Oh boy, it's hard not to go House of Pain when you say jump around, right?
Yep.
Welcome to the 15th Floor, a Radiohead reaction podcast where a Gen X father tries to convince his Gen Z son that Radiohead is the greatest band of all time by introducing him to Radiohead songs one song at a time. He reacts for the first time, and I talk about the song that I love for years and years and years for the zillionth time. We've noticed that over the last couple of videos we're not getting as many views because I keep saying we're going to get back to posting twice a week, but we really haven't been able to do that yet. My oldest son is graduating this week. We've got kind of a lot going on, but I think sometime in June we're really going to nail a lot of videos. I think we're going to do more Radiohead. We're going to get into a lot more B-sides. We've got to post some Imagine Dragons stuff we've already done, and we're going to start doing a lot more of the viewer requests. Viewer requests, just keep those coming in. Songs that we might like, keep your Radiohead requests coming in. I know you probably feel like you've already said all the ones you want us to do. We'll get to them all. That is if people keep watching. Like I said, I mean, we did electioneering last, and I think it's struggling to get up to 300 views, which most of our videos get to 300 views first day. I know real YouTubers are like 300 views. That's like 10 minutes, but no, to us, that is a first day.
Not even 10 minutes. For some people, it's
yeah, some people, it's ridiculous. If we were a dude perfect, we'd be killing it. What do you have to say about what's coming up for Imagine Dragons?
So we're going to be doing the song from the Mercury album, and then another song, and then preferably the most suggested song for Smoke and Mirrors, because that's probably the album you'll like the most. And then just another suggested song.
Sometime this summer, we're going to get around to my favorite Radiohead song. I've always bounced back and forth between favorite Radiohead songs, but this one's been my favorite for as long as I can really remember. And so if we can get our, I'm not trying to say, hey, if we can get so many subscribers, if we can get so many views, but if we get our viewership back up to where it's supposed to be and maybe a little bit higher, then I will finally reveal to you, and if you guys care, my favorite Radiohead song, which I am going to unabashedly gush over. It's going to be a great one, but I'd like to do that this summer sometime. Today, we're going to go back to 2003, to the album where our podcast started, back to Hail to the Thief from, again, 2003. Repetitive. I love Hail to the Thief. For some people, Hail to the Thief is a little bit of an outlier. It's very different in its themes. I really like the political / nursery rhyme, Brothers Grimm type storytelling that goes on. And I bounced back and forth on the one I wanted to go to, but I ultimately let the viewers decide, and they have most requested A Wolf at the Door, the closing track from Hail to the Thief. So I won't give a lot away about this song. I'm going to go ahead and ask anyway. What do you know about Wolf at the Door? Yeah, okay. I think it's a great closing track. This one, of course, started with 2 + 2 = 5, and now ends with this very unique for Radiohead song, A Wolf at the Door. There are swears in this song, so if you see me plug Jacob's ears, you know what's happening. You know what's happening if you know the song. He's 16. He's allowed to hear swears.
I'll be fine.
Yep. He goes to school. So requested by a lot of people. Just some of the names. Again, some of these might be doubles because they've requested it so many times. East, CHCH Kia, Raphael C, Inverse Midas, All Hail to the Thief, Aglos Mard, Ritzauer, It Me, Airbud, Poo Poo Poo. Names that you might recognize if you go through. I think we've done a lot of their comments, a lot of requests, because they're all very good commenters and very good listeners and watchers and whatever else you do with YouTube videos. So let's get Jacob's reaction to the closing track from 2003's Hail to the Thief, A Wolf at the Door.
Drag him out, you window, dragging out the dead, singing a mess. You snakes and ladders, flip the lid. Out pops the cracker, snaps you in the head, naps you in the neck, kicks you in the teeth. Steel toe caps, takes all your credit cards. Get up, get the guns, get the eggs, get the flat in the face, the flat in the face, the flat in the face. Dance you fucker, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you flat in the face. Take it where the love it's given, take it where the pinch is all, take it to the tax now. Let me back, I promise to be good. Don't look in the mirror at the face you don't recognize. Help me call the doctor, put me inside, put me inside, put me inside, put me inside, put me inside. I keep the world from the door. He calls me on the phone, tells me all the ways that he's gonna mess me up. Steal all the children if I don't pay the ransom. I'll never see him again if I squeal to the cops.
Obviously unique in the sense that this is Tom York's first foray into spoken word. He doesn't sing most of this song. And it fits very well because Johnny Greenwood is playing just a really beautiful arpeggioed undertoned guitar there. And the beauty of the guitar is contrasted to the harshness of the words until the chorus, which is a very pretty chorus with very stern messaging about the wolf from the door.
It was hard to say something just because it was so. It's definitely unique for a Radiohead song from what I've heard. It's hard for me to explain or describe how a closing song should end, but that does sound like how an album should close out.
Yeah, I appreciate your appreciation for the final trackness of it. Yep. It's funny, it's called The Wolf at the Door, but he's really talking about keeping the wolf from the door. The wolf being capitalism, classism. What are your thoughts on the spoken word aspect of it?
It's weird.
I'll suggest that there's a likability about riffing like that, especially when you learn the words. When you learn the words, it's really fun to keep going with Tom York here and say and do all these lines. I use the example a lot because it's a lot of fun, but when you learn a Beastie Boys song, the song becomes so much funner when you learn all the lyrics to the song. And suddenly this kind of fun, niche-y song is really fun because you've learned the lyrics. And this is one of those types of songs.
Only Beastie Boys is better.
Oh boy, oh man. I love the Beastie Boys, I really do. I won a Halloween dress-up costume contest, dressed up like the Beastie Boys from the Sabotage video. Got me a whole bag of candy at school, made me popular for a day. And so I owe a lot to the Beastie Boys. But this is not like the Beastie Boys in that fashion at all.
It's just
the
Beastie Boys, how you don't know really what they're saying, but just once you do, it's fun.
Once
to
you do,
sing.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And this is so observational, and Tom York does a lot of observational lyric writing. He talks about sitting on a train and observing these boys in first class that are just kind of being exactly what he doesn't like about first class, and he feels so out of place on this long train ride. You know, the imagery of Wolf at the Door, you know, going back to themes that they hit so much throughout this album. Like I said, using themes of essentially anti-capitalism, anti-war, broken promises, and tying that into imagery from childhood stories and nursery rhymes. So, you know, Three Little Pigs, Wolf from the Door, that sort of thing. I will tell you, it almost didn't make the cut. They weren't going to put it on the album. But they really liked Johnny's guitar playing, and it just matched so well. Like a lot of Radiohead songs, there are older versions of it. There are or old whisperings of it. As early as the Kid A recordings, there was stuff on the website, on the Radiohead's website. Some of the lyrics that eventually became part of this song showed up there. So if you were a Radiohead nerd that went to the website a lot, you recognize some of these lines. And you can't overlook melodically and symphonically how good that chorus is. I mean, I Keep the Wolf from the Door starts off very much sounding like the whole verse has, but he just, that major chord coming up over in the second line is so welcoming and so, for lack of a better term, warm. Every time I hear it, it's such a peaceful sounding musically peaceful sounding piece of music with really not peaceful lyrics, which is really good.
Creepy.
I will say, I probably heard A Wolf at the Door several times before I really looked forward to it again on the album. Now, of course, I listen to the whole album and each song I love, but I look forward to A Wolf at the Door because I love that chorus. And I'm going to get a little, just not outwardly emotional, but it hits me. I mean, when I hear that chorus, I just think of the beautiful parts that Radiohead is able to do. It's only in snippets in this song because so much of it is spoken word, and so I just wait for that chorus. And when he gets to that, calls me on the phone, tells me all the ways that he's going to mess me up. That does not sound like a line that you can make beautiful, but I mean, it is like the Panic, the Vomit to me. Speaking of Paranoid Android, the bridge in this song has kind of the similar sound to the bridge in Paranoid Android. And every time the song starts off for just a second, I think they're ripping off their own song, You Never Wash Up After Yourself. So A Wolf at the Door, score.
6.5.
6.5.
It's just, there are some songs where I can like go on and on about, oh yeah, I like this part. And this song, it's just hard for me to say something. I just hear, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. Okay. And just maybe if I keep listening to it, then I'll have more things to say, but I don't want to disappoint you guys, and it really makes me sad. But like, I just can't think of anything.
You're an Imagine Dragons fan. No one thinks you're going to hear this song that sounds nothing like what the Imagine Dragons might do and go, oh yeah, I love that. Even as a Radiohead fan, A Wolf at the Door did not immediately hit me. I think a lot of people requested this song because they think it's a little more something that Gen Z might latch onto. But you're a Gen Zer with older tastes. You're going to hear it again, and you're going to, I do like that song. And I said that about Burn the Witch. I've said that about a number of songs. And when you go back and hear those songs, you know, you like those songs.
Burn the Witch was definitely one of those songs.
Yeah. I love to think, even though it wasn't planned, this song ends this album. The next album is In Rainbows, which is such a different feel to this album. And so if you're just plowing through listening to everything Radiohead does in order, besides the B-sides, all their studio albums, you finish off this harsh, critical album with The Wolf at the Door, and then you come into the next one with a complete different feel. In Rainbows has a immediately different feel. Let's do Children's Art. Now, before we talk about Children's Art, I need to say, like a lot of Radiohead songs, there's a couple of swear words in this one. Just so you know, I know Radiohead enough that when we play these for my kids, I do mute those parts. They don't get to hear those parts at all. They don't even know why I'm muting it most of the time. They just think I pressed the wrong button or something like that. This is his picture And that's a wolf at the door at the top there. You only know it's a wolf because the way it's crouched. And then this is a person with what looks like about 8 eyes inside and saying, is that a wolf? And surrounded by these boxes and half circles, which are just probably rooms in the house. She pretty much did the same thing. There's a wolf at my door. And the wolf, that looks maybe a little bit like a cat, is at the door. To children, I don't think they're going to get much more out of this than it's clearly saying something about a wolf at the door.
They're not going to say, oh, this song's about capitalism.
Yeah, or, oh, I love the reference to the Stepford Wives, or flan in the face, which clearly references the incident where the woman had the flan thrown in her face. And yeah, which those things are real, but no kid is going to say, I love those references. The comment I'm going to read today is from Marty Bum. It says, what I love about Radiohead is just how creative and how different every album is, as I was just saying. There's not a single skip track with them. The Bends is my favorite album only because it's the album that opened my ears to Radiohead way back in the 90s. And then they go on to say, as far as Arctic Monkeys, they're a close second to Radiohead for the same reason. So we need Arctic Monkeys requests, because I think that's where we're going for the viewer request, and that's probably coming up here in the next couple of videos. I chose this comment because I do believe there is no single skip track. And just like I was talking about before, I look forward to certain tracks. Even though I'm enjoying the track now, I can't wait to get to another track, because that's where my mood is. I don't think there's a skip track with Radiohead. If you're new to Radiohead and you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, there's a lot of skip songs in there. You're not there yet, and that's not a Radiohead problem. That's a you problem, and I don't know what to tell you other than sorry. Maybe music isn't for you. No, I'm kidding. I'm being very harsh, of course, but I know there's a lot of people who again, first time, some of these songs just aren't gonna hit, but they actually don't miss. So that's a good quote. Oh man, I should get a poster that says, first time some of these songs aren't going to hit, but none of them miss.
Right here.
That was a bad misquoting of my own self.
Yep.
But you get it. And then the next, and then I love this comment about the Bends being, thank you for saying the Bends is your favorite album. Don't throw shade on the Bends because you think you're awesome. This guy clearly didn't. This person, sorry, clearly did not do that, and I appreciate that most people don't. Somebody once said on a comment that the Bends is very underrated, and somebody kind of puffed at that and said the Bends isn't underrated. It's very well respected, but I think what that person means is in the library of Radiohead, where people really respect Kid A and In Rainbows and Hail to the Thief and OK Computer, don't overlook a classic rock album like the Bends. I wish we could do a lot more from the Bends and the era from the Bends, because you would like all of those songs. We're going to skip around. We're going to hear a lot of different music, and I hope you go back to these, and I hope you go back to some of these. Think about what we're talking about with the mood, and if you haven't heard Wolf at the Door and you just heard it now and you thought, that's different, I don't get that. Think of the first time you heard Tom Sawyer by Rush. There's no way you were like, oh, this song rocks. No, you had to hear it a few times before you kind of got what they were doing. Maybe you still don't get what they were doing. I don't know. But Radiohead, this song very much falls into that category. If you're a big Rush fan or a big Tom Sawyer fan, please don't take offense to that comment, because there are some really big Rushies out there. Keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing. You can only do that once, I understand. Yeah. But force your friends to subscribe, and tell them that if they don't, you will no longer be their friend. That works on our on my 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your nice comments. Keep watching. We're gonna put out a lot of content, so please keep supporting. Love all your comments. Thank you so much. Continue to love one another. Keep listening to music together. You're now leaving
the 15th floor.